I would rather eat whatever Oliver Twist was eating than whatever it is you just described.
Man, we are funny.
Can't all be big hits, you know?
I'm not the official mascot.
Do they just
like I'm the one that got out? You know?
Do they want you to just?
Yeah, well, you think you're better than us now, huh? Because it's a real fine line where
you come back here and think you can own the joint, huh?
Yeah, it's a real fine line between they love you, but then if you get too good, then they hate you. The live show that we have canceled or scheduled for this summer is canceled.
Hey! Oh!
Wait a minute.
Oh, that's not fair. That's sad fair.
No, you wouldn't replace the fan part. You'd replace the fair part, I would think.
Oh, okay. So
fan sad.
Fan sad for the comedy man.
Boy, something that we talked about in that intro that we talked about last week happened once again to me this week.
I was going to ask you, Steve, because we've now talked about this twice in the last month. Did you get any feedback from your fellow Jersey scum about you spitting in the face
me being too
of
good?
The Garden State?
No, but we had a thing on Tuesday where we were talking to some people. It was a radio show thing, and it was like a virtual meet and greet type thing.
Okay.
From some listeners in Pennsylvania. So we were just chatting with them.
Yeah.
They were asking some questions about the show, about us, blah, blah, blah. One of them was from New Jersey, so what was the question they asked me?
Oh, God, Steve, what'd you get?
Hey, what do you miss the most? I actually said to the woman, I felt bad after. I was like, well, you know what I don't miss? I don't miss this exact question because I get it all the time.
Do people get that from every state?
I don't know.
No? I mean,
I think there's just a strange amount of pride specifically.
Because I've known my wife now for 9 years. She was technically born in California.
Oh, surfer chick.
And spent some of her
How's
youth
it?
outside of
Hang
Chicago.
10, bruh.
I've never once heard a single person ask her, "Do you miss it?" Like,
well, I
is it
think in that
your
case,
people?
In that case, the response would where in California?
I don't even know. I know the town name, but I don't know where it's near. It's a small town.
And how old was she when she left?
Well, how old was she when she was born? She was, I don't know. It was young because her father's in the military, so they ended up moving to outside of Chicago for a while. She kind of remembers that trip, but it was still pretty young.
Okay, so she barely has any memories
Right.
from So
right. Well,
but I mean, nobody. There's like if you were to remember California and now you live in Michigan, there's no point in asking if you miss it.
Right.
Because of course you do. Because nobody voluntarily moves from California to Michigan
right.
and then enjoys it. Nothing against the state that we're in.
Right.
But
boy, so 2 weeks in a row now. You've spat in the face of your fellow scum from Jersey.
I guess I just don't have the pride of where I live.
I care about how I'm taxed.
Yeah.
That's really what I care, because I'm in my 30s. I'm not 16 flying my state flag with pride and talking about how my deer on the flag are cool.
I have no clue.
Yeah, well, you've got smog.
I have no idea what the state flag of Michigan looks like. No
Really?
clue. No idea.
Wow, would you be surprised to find out there are deer on
Well,
it?
that I'm beginning to think that there might be deer on it. Now, I think that if you were to put 50 state flags in front of me without labels on them,
Yeah.
I bet I'd be able to pick it out because I'm sure I'd say, oh, I've seen that one before.
Well, yeah, and I just gave you a pretty big giveaway. I
Yeah,
doubt any
yeah,
other
the deer.
state has a stupid deer on it.
Maybe. You never know. I could pick out New Jersey just because it's yellow.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
yuck.
More like a goldeny, mustardy yellow.
What? Oh,
Not a good look.
do you think that's the way it was during the Civil War? Just shouting across battle lines, "Your deer flag's stupid!"
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, at least we let black people live.
Ooh, game, set, match right there. I mean
that's a hard one to come back from.
Yeah, it's tough. Although there are some people around today that would still be fighting the good fight on that one.
The guy next to the person who yelled at, whoa, 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 he doesn't speak for me.
Yeah. Let's not get carried away now.
This is the 1800s, not 2500. That'd be an awful different war if it was just yelling insults. Because what did they do, Steve? Because we see war movies and we see videos from Vietnam, wherever in the last 60, 80 years, and it's automatic rifles, it's helicopters, but back then...
Yeah, Creedence Clearwater Revival playing.
Back then, it's muskets. There's like 30 seconds in between gunshots.
Yeah.
Are you lobbing insults?
Hey!
Nice beard, you big dummy! Ramrod down.
Meanwhile, you've literally insulted every single soldier. Because they all have them.
Gray looks good on you. Is that what your mother looks like? Like, just some of the real childish insults.
Yes. Weak insults.
Maybe that's how we need to teach the children about the Civil War, because you don't want to, really insult their fragile minds. So you tell them that they were mad at each other, so they said mean things to each other until they all went home.
Sure.
And decided that the North was right.
Right, yeah. It was basically a coin flip.
Could have gone either way, Steve.
Well, you guys got us this time, but we'll get you again. Don't worry.
Now, Steve, you don't strike me as a man of the elements. You're not a guy who's sitting here with snowboard or skis in hand, waiting for the first big snowfall, which made it a touch surprising to me when I received a text message from you yesterday. Mm-hmm. And that was, hey, well, I could pull up the exact wording, but it's all the same sentiment here.
Yeah, I could read it. I got it right here, too.
It was, you guys up for some sledding later?
Right.
Apparently, it's Evelyn's new thing. They're going to go into the local hot spot after her nap.
Yeah, because we have a little like plastic toboggan out in the garage.
Yeah.
So every day before lunch, Annette takes Evelyn and Lola, and if I'm here, I go too for a walk through the neighborhood. And it's
perfect
just
weather for it.
It's so it's their daily ritual.
Yep.
And they look forward to it. They enjoy it. So maybe a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, whenever we got snow the last time, a decent amount, a couple of inches or so, we took Evelyn. I grabbed the sled it was in the shed in the backyard, and I was like, hey, why don't we see what she thinks about that? Pull her around the driveway, around the front yard. And she was really unsure of it. Mm-hmm. But seemed to, like, she didn't cry or anything, but she just kind of sat there like real stiff as a board.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine for a child.
Sure.
That first experience of, hey, wait, I'm always held, or I'm always buckled into a stroller.
Now I'm in this thing, and there's all this stuff around me. I don't know what it is. Right. So, yeah, because that was really her first. I mean, she experienced snow last year, kind of, but she was like 4 months old. So we thought, oh, okay, cool. She seemed to not hate it. That's great. Well, in the last week or so, whenever Annette would go out for a walk, Evelyn would always point over at the sled and then do this, which is please.
Yeah. That's the sign language for please.
Yeah. So so Annette told me that the other day. I was like, oh, we should take her out again.
Yeah.
So we, yesterday, after I got home from work, I was out using the snowblower, clearing the driveway. Annette put her in the sled, and they were just kind of walking around the cul-de-sac and going up and down the front lawn and everything. And she was having a blast.
Yeah.
To the point where it was time to go inside to eat. Annette picked her up, and she just lost her mind because she wanted to stay out. We got her in the house. Oh, she was like, we're taking her snow pants off and everything, and she was just bawling. Oh. Crawling over to the door out to the garage and peeking through the cat door saying please.
You've got a snowbird on your hands.
Yeah, we do. We have a snowbird on our hands. So I thought, I wonder if
she's like a big dog, one of those, like you see those videos of the dog for the first time in snow and they're bouncing on all four legs.
Yeah, like a deer.
Yeah. that's your daughter.
Yeah. So I thought, I wonder maybe we should actually go sledding.
Sure.
And I know of the local hot spot, which I've never been to.
Yeah.
But I know that's the place to go.
Yeah.
So I shot you a text. I figured, hey, why don't we see if Kyle and Katie and Reed want to go?
Yeah.
Figuring you guys would be maybe out in the snow, building a snowman or something.
Yeah, 15 degrees, by the way. So
Wasn't it not yesterday?
It was in the teens.
Was it really?
Yeah, they
I
dropped
thought it was
from like 30 on Thursday to...
Was it really? Wow.
Yeah. So let me fast forward very briefly here before we get to how that played out. You received, as you called it, a fresh ski update from your neighbor, Justin with a Y, who's over there. Now, how old, again, because apologies, I don't have the family history down. How old are Justin with a Y and Julie with an X? How old are the children?
I think they're 11 and 7.
Okay. So you messaged me last night, and my first thought when you messaged me was, I already knew, you just verified it, Steve's never been there.
Yeah.
Because had you been there, the idea of going down that hill with your daughter would change immediately if you had been there.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that.
Well, it's bigger, and there's a big bump towards the bottom that can kind of send you sailing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was I don't know, some of the hills where we used to go sledding, there was always like obviously the really steep part, but sometimes off to the side maybe there'd be like the equivalent of the bunny slopes for the little kids. So again, I had never been there before. So you said that's a big ass hill with a Reed aged kid even.
Yeah, I would not go down there with Reed. Okay. I would not. I would say. I mean, I wouldn't take a kid down there until he was 6 or 7.
All right.
Just because it's huge, and 2, I don't really want to go down with him because I don't think my body would handle it. I would do now. This is the hill. This is before your time. No, it was not before your time. Maybe this is the whole hill that your coworker rolled down in a tire.
Okay.
And severely damaged his back.
Because he was asking me about that the other day, and he's like, "Oh, that's where I did that's the hill from the tractor."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I had no idea."
Yeah. Now, granted, he was rolling down in a tire,
in a massive, a 65-inch tall tractor tire.
Probably why he was injured. But I think it would be a good experiment, Steve, for maybe me and you to go over there and go down it. I only think it'll take one time for you to realize I'm not doing that again.
Okay.
Because I want to see how both of our bodies react. I don't think I'm going to take it.
I think I'll like it. I'm a bit of a thrill seeker.
You might like it until you start walking up. And
I don't want to have to walk back up.
Well, there's no tow rope. This again,
is there like a ski lift or something?
As much as your neighbor was referring to it as the old ski mountain here, there is no system to get you back up to the top outside of your 2 sticks that you walk on.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm already doing this in my head. Steve, right arm Evelyn, left arm sled, trying not to slip because you have a child in a sled.
Yeah.
And it would take you at least 8 minutes to get up this hill.
Oh, God. That seems awful.
But listen, if you're still up for it today...
Maybe, all right, maybe I'll go out and get like a quad or something.
Okay, so the back and forth. So we'll need one of us at the top at all times to bring the quad to go get them. Or one person, kind of rides the quad next to the sled.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you just hook the rope around it, pull it back up.
Pretty good grade on that hill.
That's all right. I'll get a good one.
Boy, this would be perfect Comanche time.
Oh, yeah.
If you had that thing ready.
Yeah, we could go big boy vroom vroom up the snow hill. Next winter, we're going to be doing that.
Now, do you think are we talking steps here of neighbor Justin asking if you guys want to come with on one of these visits?
The invitation was there this morning.
Oh,
he
I didn't listen. I don't need to get in the way. If you want to go, I'll finish things up here, and I've got plenty to talk about.
I could be there in 10 minutes.
I've been harboring my list of the best pacers from the 1990s. I've been waiting.
I got one. Reggie Miller.
Well, there goes my list. There's the spoiler alert. There's
sport guy here.
Number 1, guys.
Sporty McSport.
Now, Steve, this is obviously comes out after the Super Bowl.
You mean
But-
the big
sorry. Oh,
the
my
football
God, I'm sorry.
contest,
Do you have the-
the end of the year football extravaganza.
Please bleep me. I've never cursed as much as I just did right there, and I apologize to the NFL.
Yeah.
The end of the season extravaganza
The 55th time that teams will play for a championship.
in the month of February. Mm-hmm. That's tomorrow. Which, by the way,
is.
I didn't want to step on your introduction there.
It is Saturday, February 6th, 2021, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, as you were saying.
That's right, Steve. 1 day away from the end of the season extravaganza where two teams play for the 55th time in the month of February for a title.
Oh, I think we need to turn that into an acronym, just like the
Could we make that a shirt?
SKP.
Just use a football, no logo, in the center, and then those words kind of written all around it.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
I don't even remember what I said.
Nope.
Doesn't matter. Somebody make it work. We're a day away. This episode will have come out by the time it's over, obviously.
Well, spoiler alert, though. I mean,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I mean, what if somebody is still waiting to watch the game?
That's right. Is this one of those things where, because people do that, and I don't understand it. Maybe when I was like a teenager and I was super into sports and football and whatever, I would have done it. But is the Super Bowl something that people will DVR and tell people, no spoilers, I'm watching tomorrow or watching when I get home? That can't be, right?
I don't think so. No, I think that's the one exception. I think any championship game is an exception to that.
Yeah, it has to
Because if
be.
you're a big enough fan, you're going to do what you have to do.
Yeah, I think championship game sports
Yeah.
are exempt from the, hey, I'm watching it later.
Right. Yeah. Well,
conversation.
maybe if you work until 9 o'clock, so you start the DVR, and then you catch up. But typically, you'd be caught up by halftime.
Right. Man, I just can't imagine telling people that. Be like, okay, it's the 105 million people watched it last night. I'll keep it quiet for you, John the idiot who fell asleep.
So do you have big Super Sunday spectacular plans?
I have nothing, Steve. I have no plans. We're gonna make just a little food, probably hang out, just the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
No real plans, but
You got your money on Tommy Touchdown?
no, I'm not an idiot. I kind of get the idea. Maybe you're looking to get in on the gambling aspect of the Super Bowl.
I do like the prospect of free money.
It is.
And if you listen to the commercials
Sure.
that you hear on the radio and you see on TV, they're just giving you money.
Yeah, they are. And that there's
So-
no strings.
Okay, so how many legal, like realistically, how many different sports betting
Sure.
apps or websites could I go to and place a bet on a game? Like a guaranteed win, like one of the ones where they
Sure.
say win $25 if any team scores a touchdown.
I would bet you could get guaranteed money from at least 3, maybe 4, or 5. I haven't.
Oh boy, that's not enough. I was thinking it was going to be like 10 or 12.
We don't even have 10 or 12 apps in the state that
Really?
are legal. Yeah, I believe it's like 9 or 10.
Okay. So all of them aren't doing that free money stuff, are they?
No. Like the big
just
ones,
the big ones?
the big ones that you see the billboard, and there's billboards everywhere in this state.
Yeah.
When we took a trip to the east side of the state a couple of weeks ago, Steve, billboards
That's all there
for
is.
the big ones everywhere, offering free stuff. And once you click on a few of those ads on social media, that's all I get. But I think this just goes to show that the intervention worked because I've gotten you on board with maybe sports betting. Because
Boy, I think if you could guarantee me that I could pocket...
and again, I don't know why I'm involved in this or why I have to guarantee
Well,
you
you're
money.
an enabler.
That's fair.
If you could say, look, do these simple steps on these 3 apps,
Yeah,
you'll have $200 in your pocket.
sure.
I think that would probably be my point where I'd say, all right, because anything less than that, I just don't want to go through the hassle of downloading the app, setting up an account, putting in my credit card information or
But you
whatever
don't
it
have
is.
to. You can link it to your PayPal, but you do need to.
Right.
You need to give them your Social Security, your address, because they're part of the legislation is that they have to have, like, they have to To verify it's you.
Yeah,
You can't just make 15 different accounts with 15 different PayPals.
Sure.
Like, it's relatively rigorous in terms of making sure.
Start to finish, how long does it take me to set up an account?
4 minutes.
And place a bet. Is it confusing?
No. And I could show you the ropes there.
Is it the, hey, bet here for the quadruple trifecta?
Yeah, so a lot of them you'll just have, as long as you're a new user, they'll have, hey, click on this, and I think there's one, you pick a team, and it's $5 bet will pay you $275. Another one, I'm trying to pull up a list.
Wait, a $5 bet on what?
Either team.
Will pay me $275?
I believe that's one of the ones that had been going around.
So if I say $5, I'm going to give you $5 that the Chiefs will win. If the Chiefs win, I get $275?
I believe that's, so right here, so in one of the big ones, we'll say. New users, 55-1 odds on either team's money line. So you're just betting them to win outright. You don't need them to win by a certain amount of points.
So if I say
$5 on the Chiefs, $5 on the Bucks, you win $275. Now,
so
if you're smart,
you would just put money on both of them, right?
Well, you can't. You can only make it's on your first bet only.
Okay, so
but luckily, Steve, and this is, by the way, how is your marriage coming, Steve? You got the two of you people in this household happy?
I see what you're saying.
Right? So that's
$270 worth of free money?
Yeah.
So what if I put $50 on a team to
$5 max?
$5 max.
Because obviously they're doing it as a promo. Let's see the other one. Still bonus money at this other one. Bet 25 on the Super Bowl, win $155 in bonuses if either team scores.
Huh.
There's one going on that
probably a good chance that that both of the teams are going to score, right?
You think so, Steve? So
I mean, Tommy Touchdown. He's known for putting the X's and O's in the end zone.
Yeah, the drawing up the big plays.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I'm just saying, I'm glad to have you on board. I'm glad to see that 2 weeks removed from you trying to stage an intervention on me for my gambling habits.
So hypothetically,
I'm now closer to having you gambling than me not gambling.
So hypothetically, now obviously you know me, diehard Chiefs fan. I love the team, love everything about it.
You've got the red hoodie on today.
Yeah.
Which I know that's the Bucks color too. But
now speaking of the, who was it? The Bucks. Yeah, the Bucks. Speaking of the Bucks, I mean, you know as well as I do.
Yeah.
My wife, huge Bucks fan.
No question, Steve.
Loves the Bucks.
I've seen her in pirate regalia.
Mm-hmm.
That you first see it and you think it's some weird kink, but then it turns out that it's just the weekend and she's in her game weekend uniform.
So hypothetically speaking,
sure,
we both sign up for accounts here at the big one. I put $5 on the my Chiefs to win because I'll call them my Chiefs because I'm a big fan, and she puts $5 on her Bucks to win.
Big Tom Brady fan up there. She won't shut up about it.
So one of us will end up winning that, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, one of you would lose $5. So I just hope that you're willing to accept that outcome.
Huh. How does that happen?
Well, so the thing with
because enough people bet on other stuff?
Yeah, well, so their idea is because, listen, this is an addictive thing. There is a reason. I mean, in my life, there's 3 anonymous meetings groups that I've been aware of. Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and Gamblers Anonymous. This is a vice that can hook you in, and people see, I just won all this, and in their mind, this is free money.
Yeah,
I might as well just play through it because I can keep winning. I can turn this $275 into whatever. Now, 98% of those people cannot, and they will not, and they'll just give it right back to the casino. But the way you can turn that into more money is by clicking withdraw and sending it directly to your bank account.
Hypothetically speaking,
sure.
Going back to this hypothetical,
and these are all hypotheticals.
Hypothetical. So one of us is going to win, hypothetically.
Hypothetically, if
$270.
Yeah.
One of us is going to lose $5. Yeah. What if both of us make the same bet?
Sure. You could win $550. Hypothetically. Yeah.
Boy.
A lot of free money out there today, this
Free money
weekend,
out there.
Steve.
A lot of free money. When do I have to make this bet by?
Well, the
I mean, hypothetically, if
if anybody were looking to make this hypothetical bet
that is already past due because the big championship
happened 2 days ago.
Yeah.
The end of the season extravaganza that's happening for football teams for the 55th time in the month of February, playing for a title.
Yeah,
it would have to happen before that.
So basically, I'm just I'm real close to being what they would call a whale, right?
Yeah. Now, Steve, you tell me if it's hypothetical, if you really want to go deep.
Hypothetically, I do.
Hypothetically, okay. Let me tell you about another option that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of these places, they offer you bonuses.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about these free bets or whatever. I'm talking deposit bonuses.
Yeah, of course. The old Depbo deposit bonus.
Don't think it's ever been referred to that. But in my mind, it's the only way it will be referred to going forward.
The Depbo.
The Depbo. So you got a lot of Depbo options. A lot of these options are pretty good.
Yeah. I know. I mean, you don't have to tell me.
You're going to put, let's say, $100. They're going to then give you an additional $100.
Okay.
Now you have to play through $100 to be able to withdraw that.
So I have to make $100 worth of bets.
Yeah. Yeah.
In order to have access to that free money that they're giving.
Yeah. Now, again, hypothetically speaking, if you wanted to guarantee yourself some money out of that, you could take this $100 and hypothetically put $50 on the Chiefs to win by 3.
Okay.
Or, well, and then on the other side, you would put another $50 on the Buccaneers to win by 3. You would lose one, but again, this is Depbo money.
Depbo, yeah.
You would lose one, but you would guarantee yourself $45. You would then withdraw that.
Plus the $100.
Plus your own 100.
Made $45.
Boom! Now, I'm saying this is a hypothetical 100. You'd have to be a real
the hypo hun.
Boy, we don't have enough time to get through all the terminology, so yeah, the hypo hun.
Look, I mean, if I'm betting Depbo, I need the hypo hun.
You could get, there's places that some people talk about that do more Depbo money.
Boy, yeah, tell me about it.
I'm just saying.
No, really, tell me about it, because
$250 and $200. Okay,
got it.
And you could do the same thing there. Wait, if you wanted
this
to.
This is a Depbo hypo hun.
Total Depbo hypo 250.
Oh, hypo 250. I don't know what the prefix for that is. So
yeah, boy, I feel like we shortened that as much as we possibly could. And
hypo tooth.
Yeah. So listen, hypothetically, if you guys were interested, I could guide your hands towards where you need to be for this.
Hypothetically, I want to pause the podcast
and I will
and set up my account right now.
Myself and brother Mike will welcome you to the family.
Okay.
Because up until now, you might be family to Mike, but really, this is what brings you in.
Well, look, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but anytime there's a group text about some sport ball thing or some bet,
you're all over it.
Notice the total amount of replies you've received from me. Would be 0.
Think. Okay. So I need 9 apps. Okay. Boy, you're right. You're right. Not a lot of activity.
All right. So, hypothetically, if I go with that big one that gives me 55-1 odds.
Yep.
So, let's see. Right there, I'm winning 270.
Mm-hmm. But do you get your 5 back?
Oh, true.
So, you would get your...
Right, but I'm up... I don't know. Okay,
You'd be up 275.
Okay. How much do you think I could pocket, realistically?
If you kept going?
No, like in the next, if I were to make all of those super obvious free money bets,
sure.
How much do you think I could win?
I could see you somewhere around $240.
But I was up $270 already.
Yeah, I'm just saying I could see this going south.
Look, you think I'm going to screw up the debt bow hypo hun and lose money?
Steve, just
You're talking to a whale here.
I could see you making $400, $500.
Basically risk free too.
Yeah. If you do it correctly, if you do it responsibly,
this is how addictions start.
And listen. There's a reason that Las Vegas has had one losing month in the past 8 years on their sports book. One. It's because Vegas always knows. And it was no real reason behind it. It was just by happenstance. Vegas knows better than everybody who's doing this who thinks they might know better.
All right. Am I doing this or not?
This is kind of like one of those like bright light in a movie, and we're kind of ghosts, and you start walking towards us, and we open our arms and embrace you.
So
but
I'm
I guess
dead?
this wouldn't
so
be.
I died?
I guess this wouldn't be closer to heaven. This would be closer to, like, hey, welcome to addiction and a terrible vice that could tear apart your family if you don't know how to play responsibly.
Now, say
And by the way,
hypothetically,
play responsibly, people. When I talk about my sports betting,
1-800-GAMBLER.
for God's sake, don't use money you need. Only use extraneous money that you want to play.
Because I'm thinking about betting the mortgage.
I can guarantee you a 46% chance at winning. Huh?
So
where else are you going to get those odds?
That's pretty good.
And what are they going to do? Take your house?
Yeah, I've been pretty good up to this point.
I mean, I work for the company.
Look, I only miss.
I work for the company. I'll put in a good word.
Look, I mean, I miss a couple payments a year. Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah. 9 out of 12. That's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thank you for all your payments. I'm glad to have you on board, Steve. This is exciting times.
So, am I going to get mocked, though, by you and Brother Mike if I sign up, make a couple bets,
sure,
forget about everything for 11 months and 3 weeks, and don't make another bet until next year?
Well, I don't even know why you'd do that if I'm you, because you're not going to get these same bonuses next year because they're only for new users. You would be better off taking the money, running, and spending it on what you want to.
Hypothetically, I change my name.
Sure.
Get a new social security number.
Easy.
Definitely worth it.
Head on down to the office. Wait in line.
Need a new one. Can you switch around?
So just
switch a 3 and a 2?
Yes. You make one of these a 0. That's it. I'm on my way.
Hey, thanks.
And then
call me Barney now.
And then use your P.O. box as your other address.
Oh, hey, there we go.
And if they give you any guff, go take a picture of like a shanty outside, next to a P.O. box.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, well, you can't argue that. It looks like residence to me.
I think I'm in.
Steve, we're going to get you set up. Oh, I'm excited.
I think I am in.
Because I think you're going to get the bells and whistles on there and be like, ooh, casino. I might as well play a few phone slot machines.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Hey, look at that. $30 gone. Boy, poker's legal now?
Oh, it's been a fun episode.
Steve, there's something I need to get with you about that you teased 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, as things go, it went sideways last week.
We didn't get to it.
And as a brief aside, Steve and I have been working behind the scenes this week already, tirelessly getting the Steve and Kyle's Cure for the Cure.
Oh, yeah.
Planned. We're working on it. More details. So you were mentioning to me, because this came up while talking about planning the Cure for the Cure. Mm-hmm. And I said, hypothetically, somebody donates X amount of dollars. We'll call Ray on air. And you said, I don't know if that's what sparked something, but the next text from you was something like, maybe I should text his brother's phone to see if that is still...
his brother Ed, who we refer to as Sex Ed.
Sex Ed. Teenage nicknames. Good God. We had one of my friend's cars. He had an S10. We called it the Sex 10. How dumb are we? How dumb were we?
Is there any reason to say sex?
There's no, yeah, honestly. It's just like when you type boobs on a calculator.
Right, yeah.
This goes along with what we talked about like 4 weeks ago. We were talking about how we thought, we're sitting here just saying, hey, want to take a ride in the Sex 10? And then go turn on the subwoofers thinking it would get all the chicks.
And it did, obviously.
I mean, my God, how did we make it out alive? Yeah. Embarrassing. So that was the interaction we had kind of Ray adjacent, speaking about Ray's family. And you said when we were talking about last week's episode, you had an update about Ray. Now, did we want to briefly recap what we've discussed regarding Ray?
I don't think the Ray story has really ever been revealed.
No, and that's fine. I don't mean that. What I mean is the context of why we discuss Ray, because a lot of people haven't been around for the whole ride, Steve. So
Ray was a friend of mine in college. Ray was actually my first friend that I met in college.
Sure.
Day one, moving into Pinewood Hall at Monmouth University. I remember he
Sounds
was
like a 6th grade camp bunk.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'll meet you at the squirrel tent.
So I was moving into the dorms, and I think a bunch of people were just kind of hanging out on the front steps of the dorm, like talking to each other, doing what you do when you first go to college, where you're trying to like, all right, I gotta eat dinner tonight, so I need at least one friend to walk to the dining hall with, so I don't look like a loser. And I just remember I started talking to Ray. He was sitting there. He was talking to a couple other people.
He was literally a guy who was in the area of you when you moved in. So,
I started talking to him, got along right away.
Yeah.
A couple other people around, and that became my core group of friends my freshman year at college.
Sure.
And all through college, I was great friends with him. Senior year, me and Ray and Frank and a bunch of other people, we had a house off campus for our senior year. And then even after I graduated, I was still really good friends with Ray. And we would go every Saturday night. We would go to a couple different bars, drink way too much, think that we were going to talk to girls. Sure. Never happened. And then
you're all telling tall tales.
Yeah.
But all the chicks you're going to be bringing because you're living on your own.
Sure, yeah.
And you're like, oh, man.
Single, 20, 23, 24 years old.
So red sock on the door means an hour.
Right.
White sock means 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black sock means don't come back until the morning.
Right.
And, if you hear the bunk bed a-rocking, don't come a-knocking.
Yeah, because I had bunk beds, of course.
Yeah, it's now a children's house.
Right. So it was 2007, 2008. Ray and I had a bit of a falling out.
Which we've never told the story. We don't need to. I don't want the story told. As far as I'm concerned, that story is behind a paywall
right.
for the Steve and Kyle Cure for a Cure.
Cure for the Cure, I'd tell the story.
Because if we get a certain dollar amount, maybe we'll make that a benchmark.
Yeah.
Steve will tell the Ray story.
So Ray had a teaching job that he quit or got fired from. Okay. It was never really clear. There were a lot of details that were not revealed about that. And then next thing I knew, Ray up and moved to Budapest.
Boy, must have been a heck of a falling out from this gig that went south.
He moved to Budapest. And
okay. Did you keep in touch with Ray in Budapest?
Still kept in contact with him. And there was always oh man, you guys should come and visit. And like we were seriously thinking about doing that. It was super expensive flights and everything. I didn't have any money at the time.
Well, yeah, you're a college kid.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm working my first job where I was making no money. I mean, I was making enough money to pay my rent.
Yep.
And, of course, my jet ski payment.
Which, the two biggest things.
I mean, what else do you need?
Third would be food. And, again, I'm sure you were going weekly, maybe even to keep up the image, Steve. Maybe you were coming home once a week with a box of condoms. And you're just slapping them on the table like, yep, another week, guys. And then
just got to pile up. The pile never goes down.
You're going in your room and hiding them in your closet so nobody knows that you just have 40 boxes.
Yeah. So it was after Ray moved to Budapest that found out some things that had happened or that were said, and it was like, okay,
Falling out.
It was, and we only talked, we've talked one time since then, and it was probably a year after that.
When he was still in Budapest.
I think he had moved back. It might have been a couple of years after that.
Okay.
So this is probably 2000. I still remember where I was. Like,
Sure.
I can picture, I was at my old job, and I remember, like, sending him an email because I'd heard he had gotten in a really bad car accident.
Okay.
And,
so you reached out.
Reached out, and I said,
Very nice.
Hey, man, just, I think Frank had told me. I was like, hey, Frank told me you were in a bad accident. Just wanted to, check in, see how you were. Hope
Sure.
everything's good. And we had one or two emails back and forth, and that was it. So that I probably have not talked to him in 13 years. I bet it was 07 or 08 when I last talked to him.
So that somehow, not that story, because I didn't even know that much, came up on the podcast because we were discussing maybe having a reconnection that we then deemed Ray Connections.
The Ray Connection, yeah.
Where we
Which
were
was
going
our
to...
side podcast where if you need to be reunited with somebody named Ray.
That was it. That was the only requirement.
The only requirement.
You had to have a falling out with somebody named Ray, and we're still looking to record the premiere episode of Ray Connection. So if you fit the bill, please let us know so we can get that thing off the ground because, boy, that's got money written all over it.
It's got potential.
Steve. So that's where we are with Ray, and the last time Ray and Ray Connections was mentioned, it's probably been
A couple of years
on here, right? I mean,
it may have come up off the cuff here and there. But yeah.
But in depth, it's been a while because I'll bring it up and I'll say, hey, because we actually called Frank to ask him about something totally separate.
Mm-hmm.
And because Frank is aware of the Ray situation.
Frank's aware. Yeah, I don't know if... I would assume Frank... I mean, God, it's been, like I said,
forever.
13 years. So I'm sure he knew at one point, but it's perfectly possible that he's forgotten too.
Right, and this
because look, obviously this was a huge thing in my life at the time, but not in his.
Yeah, and that was my next question. Was this wasn't a Ray had done something regarding the entire group of people?
No,
was a Ray had done something kind of directly correlating to you, Steve.
Yeah,
that caused the strife.
And look, I'm not going to say that in the very off chance that Ray hears this, I'm not going to say that there was nothing. I'm sure that if he were to tell the story,
sure,
I'm in the wrong about something, and I don't doubt that at all. I'm sure that there was something that I did that angered him.
Well, you're both 20, whatever you are at the time.
We knew each other from the time we were 18 to 24, probably. Okay. But I'm sure that I pissed him off in those 6 or 7 years.
I guarantee it. But for whatever reason, the story of Ray has lived on in this podcast up until you telling me you have, and I'm not going to deem the size of this update. You just said you have an update on Ray. Now, I don't know if it's Ray himself or just the status, but Steve, what do you have for us today in regards to your former friend?
Yeah.
Ray.
Well, going back a little bit, Frank had actually, the last I know, Ray was living in Texas.
Okay.
And I think he was...
Boy, a real world traveler, huh?
Yeah. I think that from what I remember being told, when he was in Budapest, he met a woman who was from Texas. They were dating. And then when his time in Budapest was up, they moved back here. He moved to Texas with her. And he was working somewhere. I have no idea what he's doing.
Okay.
But Frank had gone to visit him.
Well after everything had went. So
this was probably
in Texas was probably what, 5-8 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I would think so. Probably somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I mean, again, my timeline could be totally off.
Sure.
So Frank had said that it was kind of an awkward trip. It was.
He told us about that on the call, didn't he? Yeah. Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah, he said like within like the first hour, he was like, "Oh boy, this might have been a mistake."
That's terrible too, because then in your mind you're like, "Well, I'm stuck here for
4 days, at least a long weekend."
Oh God.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was texting back and forth with Frank about something completely unrelated. And I texted him, "Hey, buddy, you have Ray's number?"
So was that text after you and I had that very brief interaction regarding that, or was it before that even?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I forget what the timeline was. And he said, hold on, let me look. Why did you join AA or something?
Looking to make amends, that's whatever. Step 10.
Yeah. I said, no, just I've just been thinking about reaching out to him for some reason.
Wow.
So Frank didn't get back to me. He said, I got to check.
Sure.
Like he had his number somewhere. And I said, because I remember his phone number. I remember the phone number.
At least his old number.
I remember his cell phone number that he had, because that was a pre-cell phone time for the most part for me. So I still remember I still remember my neighbor's phone number and my best friend's phone number from growing up. So Frank got back to me like the next day. He's like, no, I couldn't find it. I still have his old email address, but I remember that.
You have that too, yeah. That if you wanted to, you could fire one off into the ether and see if you got anything back. So
I remember when he went to Budapest, he gave his cell phone to his brother, Sex Ed.
Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe Sex Ed still has the same number these 14 years later. So the next day I sent a text to that phone number.
Now let me ask you, because I want to kind of draw out the ending here because I don't even know it.
Yeah.
Were you nervous? Were you typing it out? Did you retype it a few times? Did you?
Well, all I typed was, "Is this Ed?"
Oh, okay. But did you kind of hover over the send button, or did you maybe ignore it?
No.
So
because
you were okay with it.
Yeah, because if he says yes, it's like, oh, cool. Hey, this may sound crazy, but I'm Ray, one of Ray's old friends. Do you have his number? I'm just trying to get in touch with him. Haven't talked to him in years. No, I wasn't really nervous at all, because it wasn't the direct contact that was going to make me nervous. Right,
because you're still adjacent here. Mm-hmm. You're still not directly talking to
Ray.
Ray. You're speaking to his relation, maybe, and you don't even know at that point. Listen, it's been a long time. And this
phone number could have changed hands 10 times.
This is back in the era that a lot of times you couldn't take your phone number with you to if you were changing providers.
The only reason I was a little bit nervous, though, but I didn't even think about this until after I sent a text.
Yeah.
I thought maybe when he got home, he said to Sex Ed, hey, man, I need my phone and my number back.
Right, and maybe it's him.
And it's actually him.
Yeah.
Because I've had the same phone number since 2001.
Okay.
I've had the same phone number for 20 years.
So it's not outside the realm of possibility that maybe that happened.
Yeah. So I fire off a text.
Is this Ed? 3 words?
Is this Ed? Question mark.
Now, is this, mid-late morning our time?
5:35 p.m.
Okay, because in my mind, I'd be like, if I don't get an answer in 90 seconds, I'd already be staring at my phone going, well, either out, what if it's Budapest time?
Could still be at work. Maybe you got stuck in traffic.
Yeah, maybe.
Then I'm looking up New Jersey traffic reports.
Well, what if he lives here? I mean, that's all red. It's red on the turnpike, but I guess it's always red on the turnpike. Oh, okay, I guess I'll just wait.
So I got a reply. I got a reply almost right away.
So within 90 seconds or a minute, the minute that I would have been not panicky but staring, waiting, you got a reply. Now, was it an iPhone reply to where you see the bubbles?
It was, yeah.
Okay, so you saw the bubbles.
As soon as I typed in the phone number, it turns blue.
Sure.
So I sent it at 5:35. At 5:36:09, I got a reply.
Man. Okay. All right. Give it to us. Feed us like we're baby birds.
Okay.
We've recapped the Ray story from start to finish outside of the actual story. Again, that's the big bucks. You're going to have to pay up to hear that. Steve, what did maybe Ray's brother Sex Ed have to say?
No. I said, okay, sorry to bother you. So, back to square one.
Well, there you have it, folks.
This is what you've been waiting for 2 weeks for. Was it worth it?
Well, obviously not, Steve.
But I'm nervous, though, because I didn't even think, should I reply and say, so is this Ray?
You should definitely reply and say, are you
sure? Should I do it right now?
You should
reply. I have the text pulled up right now.
So what day did you send this?
On January 26th.
Send it from a different number. because you don't want 11 days in between you asking the same number if you're two different people. Because at that point, you're just fishing.
That's a good point. Hold on. Google.com.
But I have a feeling...
Did they cancel our Google Voice number yet?
I don't think so.
I'll just use mine.
I have a feeling that if it were Ray, though, and I don't want to throw water on this blazing hot fire of content, he would have said, no, Ed's my brother, or whatever. You know what I mean? He would have known or acknowledged an Ed. Unless maybe Ray and Ed had a falling out.
Look,
I mean, maybe Ray's known for his falling outs and uncomfortable vacations.
Maybe Ed's.
Well, maybe Ray's.
Well, this whole other layer here.
So, from a different number now, like we're sleuthing, like you're a teenager in the internet era trying to find out what a girl you think is pretty is up to. You're now going to a burner account, a burner voice number, to send a text to the same number. But maybe don't go so directly with 3 words. Maybe throw in like a, hey, is this Ray's number?
I just typed Ray? Question mark.
And that sent?
I didn't send it yet.
Okay.
I mean, look, I'll send whatever you want me to send.
No, I mean, that's fine. That's a little more
maybe,
on the nose than I was thinking.
Maybe I'll go a little Jersey and say, yo.
Hey, you okay?
Yo, this Ray?
Hey, I got your number on my phone. Who's this?
What should I... You tell me. You tell me. You dictate it.
I think you go a little more... Not formal, but you change up a tiny bit enough from the last
message. Do I say, like, hi, sorry to bother you. Is this Ray?
Yeah. I don't think that's bad at all. Hey, sorry to bother you. Is this Ray's number, or is this Ray?
Sorry to bother you.
This is exciting. This is happening live. Well, it's exciting up until we figure, like, if he doesn't answer. Because he's now tired. Now he's tired of being hounded by random phone numbers asking him, "Are you so and so?"
Well, this is going to be confusing because the first one came from I still have a New Jersey number.
So this one's coming from from
a Michigan number.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, sorry to bother you. Does this happen to be Ray's phone?" Yeah.
Send it.
Sent.
Oh, this is big. Okay.
I'm not even positive that this is his number that I remember. In my mind, this is absolutely his number, but I feel like. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking it is, but I'm just getting it mixed up with another number that I knew.
Man, because this would be like the biggest update.
This would be amazing.
You know, of in podcast history. But while we wait, I'd like to go over my top 5 Indiana Pacers from the 1990s. Now, Steve, you already blew number 1.
Yeah, Reggie Miller.
Yeah. Number 2.
Hoops McGee.
You might remember him, Steve. A lot of people should. The Duncan Dutchman himself. Rick Smits.
Oh, I remember that name.
7'4", known for his rebounding. And obviously at 7'4" in the 80s and 90s, you're just a guy who just catches the ball and reaches over Muggsy Bogues at 5'4" and puts it in the basket on your own.
The Duncan Dutchman.
The Duncan Dutchman, Steve.
It's a good name.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Mark Jackson, mostly known now for his broadcasting. He's the ABC broadcaster.
Yeah, of course.
But listen, this guy was known for his dimes. That's assists.
Wait, dimes are assists?
Dimes are assists.
That's not like
basketball.
A 10-pointer?
No. Still doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, maybe not in the NBA, but if you were a big fan of Rock and Jock back in the 90s.
Known for his drives to the lane, his assist. Great player for the Indiana Pacers. Steve. Oh, hang on.
No reply yet.
Okay. Whew. Boy,
I feel like with as speedy as his last reply was, now he knows I'm onto him.
Oh, great. This guy again? Steve, number 4.
Yeah.
Jalen Rose. Another guy.
Fab Five.
Yeah, another guy known for his broadcasting, probably more so now.
Why are we talking about this again?
I'm filibustering for you until we get a reply from maybe not Ray.
God, I couldn't care less about this. Why don't you talk to my brother about this crap?
I'll text him my last 2. I did want to let me pull it up really quick. We only had one poll last week, but it was a very important one. But while I pull it up, Steve, I wanted to ask, have you taken a trip past the old side yard hockey rink here in the last week on your walk or on a drive out of the neighborhood? Is it still there? Are they still using it?
Oh, it's still there, yeah. I mean, I passed by.
Is the kids still doing puck work, like
I haven't
practicing?
I drove by there yesterday on my way home, but I didn't. It was like a blizzard when I was driving home, so nobody was out there.
Right. Because, now there's 6 to 10 inches of snow on it.
Mm-hmm. Got to shovel it off, spray it down.
Shovel it. You got to
freeze overnight.
Oh, for God's sake, it's so not worth it. You're such dumb people. Just the dumbest.
Oh, update. It's now been 4 minutes. No reply.
Oh, he's on to you. He's on to you. That's it. That's the only explanation.
He's packing his bags in his apartment.
It's got me. That's it. This is like when people think it's like the FBI stalking him or whatever. 2 different numbers, asking him if he's 2 different names, 2 weeks apart.
Yep.
Steve, last week we asked, are surfers responsible people? Because you had talked about your high school cohorts.
Yep.
Up at the crack of dawn, going out
driving to the beach,
hitting
surfing.
the waves.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't even that responsible or that on the ball when you had a jet ski.
No, not at all. I was lazy as hell.
Well, Steve, sadly, that story did not shake the idea of our audience. 80% of people said no, they are not responsible people.
It's disappointing.
While we're going to kind of close up shop here, but I wanted to mention again and put kind of the call out because a lot of the waters got muddied last week. We were throwing a lot of details about what we want to do for this live stream. So here's a couple of things.
The cure for the cure.
Sorry, Steve and Kyle, the first annual Steve and Kyle Cure for the Cure, coming your way July 11th. Current times 1 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. Details on where you'll be able to follow us to be announced, all that stuff.
TBD.
Long time before then. But here's some things that we needed from you guys. And one, it was maybe some things you would like to see as incentives. So when we put donation markers out there, would it be, hey, $10 for an on-the-fly hot take from Kyle, $250 for Steve to tell the Ray story, etc.
Oh boy, it's going to be a lot.
Any ideas you may have for that, please send them our way. Mm-hmm. Secondly, and this is much more important, we're kind of on the hunt for a charity here. We've had a few messages, a few comments that we're going to... Listen, they're all going to be considered. Mm-hmm. And I don't want anybody to be upset if, for whatever reason, we don't choose a certain one. We don't really have anything in mind other than we would prefer it to be a cause that you and I both kind of care about or would have some type of thinking about. Not something totally... Well, I don't really care if, this forest gets demolished or not.
Yeah, I don't want to be like buying rollerblades for kids in Namibia or something.
Sure.
Like that doesn't really.
No, and I think we both kind of want a small local charity. It can be from your town. It can be from maybe a family member who works for it. Maybe they're struggling, and maybe they need some assistance because I think it would be nice to have somebody from that charity on with us that day.
We're going to have special guests? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, we're definitely going to have guests during the live stream.
Right, yeah, but I don't know why. I hadn't even considered having anyone from the charity.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to have them talk about what they do,
yep,
how they can help, where this money would go towards, things like that.
You think we're going to have them live, like in person?
Well, I'm not recording anything in advance for this.
No, I mean like in person
not at all.
On site?
Not at all. No.
Zoom?
I think that's probably easier for everybody involved, especially if we don't end up picking a charity that's local to us.
Right.
Hey, you from Van Wert, Ohio, can you drive up for a half-hour hit in Steve's backyard for the cure?
Yep.
And then they start putting 2 and 2 together like, wait a second.
Are we going to have commercial breaks?
We're probably going to need some commercial breaks.
Okay.
Maybe we can plan out our restroom breaks.
What are we going to play?
Huh. Well, we need to sell some ads. 3 to 5 minutes long. Or, again, listen. You need to go to the restroom. I start going over the best Houston Rockets from the 70s.
Oh, good, yeah.
You need to
That'll
go to
keep people tuned in.
I need to go to the restroom. You start going over your favorite Jeep Wrangler frames from the 90s.
I mean, do you go Dana 44 or do you go big boy and go Dana 60?
A lot of questions. Not many people want the answer. But if I have to use the restroom, that's what you're into. That's what you're searching for.
I really look forward to getting people on the phone and immediately saying, "How much can we put you down for?"
No, that I'm so excited for this. Like, hey, how much did you donate today? And if it's too little, we play the down whistle or the down slide.
Boom, 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 boom.
And then if it's, hey, whoop.
Oh, Frank joins us.
So we judge everybody based on the size of their contribution.
Yeah.
The second we get them on the phone.
Yeah. And we do not let them off the phone until they give us a dollar amount.
Yeah, we're happy with.
We're happy with.
Yeah, no question. We're not letting some, slob off. If we can get one of your radio idiots on and they start telling us like, well, I'll send you 20. We sit there in silence. We play the downslide. Boom. We don't let them go until we hear more dollars. So those, I think right now, Steve, are the two main things that in my mind I'm thinking to start moving this forward a little bit. For the first annual Steve and Kyle Cure for a Cure. It's a Facebook event right now. I switched the details.
Yep.
So you should be able to see it as that with the proper date, proper time. We need to figure out the platform it's going to be on, but we're going to make it hopefully as easy to access us as possible. Whether it's YouTube, maybe we can cast it onto a Facebook Live as well. Whatever. We're going to try to make this thing as easy as possible. It's coming your way. Saturday, July 10, 2021, from 1 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern, where we try to raise money for a cause to be determined yet. So please help us out. We want to do something that's near and dear to hopefully somebody that listens and follows this podcast, but also something that is in need of help.
Big update.
Oh,
No update.
Stay tuned next week
No reply.
for how this mystery phone number replies to you up.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you run stuff on the fly, Steve. It doesn't always pan out, right?
It doesn't always happen. I'm thinking, though, that the lack of response, I think it's a good sign.
What if he's wondering if he should tell you yes or no?
He might recognize the number. He might say, wait a minute.
Man.
Because if I remember his number, there's a chance he could remember mine.
No question. No question that maybe in the back of his mind, he's like, this seems familiar.
Yeah. Guess we'll find out.
Next week.
Or will we?
If he just ignores you, boy, that's a big blue ball.
We'll start texting every day. Hey, buddy.
Hey, guy. Haven't heard from you. How you been?
Oh, I'll look up how to say, how to have conversations in whatever language they speak in Budapest. Is that Turkish?
It's got to be, right? It's nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find out. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Steve and Kyle if you want to DM us. Give us a suggestion for the Steve and Kyle podcast Cure for the Cure coming up in July. You got anything else?
That's it.
Talk to you next week.